Hello everybody, thanks for tuning into today's video. We're going to be using the global computer models to try and come up with a possible forecast for the British Isles in the autumn of 2012. We're going to have a look at those computer models, and as I say, we're going to try and come up with a possible outcome for what may happen in terms of weather through the autumn. Of course, we did the final summer forecast last month, and that forecast was for an average British summer with average temperatures and average rainfall, and that's not getting off to a very good start because it's certainly been a very cold and wet June, but it's early days. Things might verify a bit better as we go further on through summer, and of course we will be coming back to that and seeing how that verifies as the summer goes along. But in any case, today's video is going to be our first look at the autumn, and then we'll do another one next month. Then we'll do a final look in August, and that forecast then in August will be the official GavsWeatherVids.com autumn forecast. Anyway, before I get on with the video, I just want to talk about the advertising. There'll usually be a video ad overlaying my web videos here at GavsWeatherVids.com. Please play those video ads because you'll be supporting GavsWeatherVids.com if you do this. Right then, so we're going to start off with the Met Office probability maps. Now, it's very, very hard to talk about probability, so if I get a bit stuck here and start rambling, hope you'll bear with me. The TV forecasters don't like using probability because it's hard to explain, but I'll do my best to talk you through this. So what we're looking at here is the temperature probability for the autumn for September, October and November, and we're looking at the probability from the Met Office model through the autumn of below normal temperatures, and we can see that the probability for below normal temperatures this autumn is 60 to 80%. These orange colours here, there's the British Isles there in the orange colours. 60 to 80% probability is down here as indicating those orange colours. So yes, we've got a 60 to 80% probability of below normal temperatures, cooler than average autumn. Now, that's not to say the autumn will be cooler than average, it's just say that the model thinks that the probability of the autumn being cooler than average is quite high. There is still a possibility or probability of above normal temperatures this autumn, but the probability of that is just 20%, so that's the blue colours here showing above normal probability. As I say, it's a 20% probability of above normal temperatures this autumn, and for near normal temperatures this autumn the probability is 20 to 40%. These the white colour here, the white area, is a 20 to 40% probability. So yes, the model is favouring a cooler than average autumn for the British Isles. Now, if you have a look at the precipitation probability, we can see that for below normal precipitation the probability is 40 to 60%. These lemon colours here, I hope you can see this. For near normal precipitation probability, it's 20 to 40%, the white colours, and for above normal precipitation this autumn, again, it's 20 to 40%. So really we've got an equal probability of above, below and near normal precipitation this autumn. So the probability isn't strong for precipitation this autumn, but for temperature it's a much stronger signal, and that temperature probability is 60 to 80% probability that we'll have below normal temperatures this autumn. So I hope you've understood that. It's quite hard to discuss probability, but I hope I've made that as easy as I can for you. Now we're going to go on and have a look at the other models, and this one is much more straightforward. This is the Jamstec IOD model, and this is a straightforward temperature forecast for the globe in September, October, November. And what we're specifically looking at here is the British Isles. And we can see that for the British Isles we have actually got very light pink colours there, or also very light blue colours. So this is really near normal temperatures actually around the British Isles for the autumn. Perhaps a little bit favouring slightly above normal in the central parts of the country, maybe slightly favouring slightly below normal in the north and the northwest, but really the British Isles here is very much near normal. But if you look down towards France and Spain and Portugal, really the west of Europe and Ireland, really the west of Europe is seeing those temperatures forecast to be near or below normal, and this is quite a cool signal really for the autumn, I think. across much of the west of Europe. The warmth is really away to the east there. So for the British Isles and really for the whole of Western Europe, the forecast from the Jamstec IOD model for this autumn is for a near normal or cooler than average autumn. And for precipitation, well, we've got slightly favouring a drier than average autumn here around the British Isles, but the signal isn't all that strong, although it is stronger perhaps for Ireland. We're really in the salmon pink colours here, so maybe we do see a forecast here for a drier than average autumn. But to the north, it's a wetter signal, so I'm not really all that sure about that. But the forecast here is from Jamstec IOD is generally, I think, for a near normal or cool autumn, and probably a slightly drier than average as well. Now we're going to go on to the Beijing Climate Centre model, and what we're looking at with this is the 500 millibar height anomaly chart. Of course, I use the 500 millibar heights for my everyday musing videos, and you know what these are about really. Where we've got the below average heights, that's where we're likely to be seeing low pressure. Where we've got the above average heights, that's where we're likely to be seeing high pressure. So what this is showing is that we've got a signal for below normal heights to the north of the country through September, October, November, the autumn of 2012, and we've got a signal for above average heights down to the south of the country for September, October and November. And for the British Isles itself, we're probably near normal in terms of height. So I think what this is really signalling is that we're seeing a lot of low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south, and generally I think we're in an Atlantic driven pattern here through the autumn. So this is probably quite an unsettled signal actually for the autumn, with the Atlantic driving pattern, probably the low pressure to the north of Scotland really the driving force. If I just move this out of the way and scroll along a little bit, we can see that those below average heights actually extend right into Scandinavia and through in towards western Russia. So this actually is quite a good signal here for the whole of northern Europe to be very unsettled this autumn. And I think that could be quite a wet signal being shown up there, really for much of northern and western Europe. But certainly it's an Atlantic driven pattern if nothing else. Now the next model I want to show you for the autumn forecast is the ECMWF, and if I just move this up here is the forecast from the ECMWF. Well, you can see there's not much to see at all there. We've got a blank page, and the reason we've got a blank page is that you can't see any long-range information from the ECMWF model. They don't like sharing their information, and as much as I'd love to show you some seasonal forecast information from the ECMWF, I can't, because I can't see it. So there's nothing to show you there, unfortunately. So now let's go on to the CFS model, and this is the 700 millibar height anomaly chart from the CFS model. This is the forecast model from the United States, CFS, of their long-range forecast model. This is CFS version 2, and by the way, I'm going to tell you this, I have mentioned in other videos that CFS version 1 is being discontinued in June. Well, it's actually having a stay-up execution, and now it seems like it's going on until October. So the CFS version 1 is still there for you to look at if you want to. It's linked to from my links page. In fact, all these models can be found from my links page. And as I say, it was going to be discontinued in June, but they've decided to keep on with it until October. But anyway, this is CFS version 2, and this is the 700 millibar height anomaly chart. So very similar really to the 500 millibar heights, just in a slightly different area in the atmosphere. And this is for September, October and November, the autumn of 2012. We can see that there's not a lot showing up here, but maybe a weak signal for low pressure around Greenland, and a weak signal for high pressure somewhere in the Atlantic. So I think again this is probably, if it's right, quite an Atlantic driven pattern. Certainly not much sign of blocking to the east, so this is probably quite an Atlantic driven pattern, with the low pressure maybe, but below average heights around Greenland maybe the driver. But this is a very weak signal. Of course, I've explained about the CFS model before. Once you go too far out, the signal with CFS does become quite weak. So that's it then. That's the models that we can look at for this particular month, and quick recap of what those models are showing. We've got the Met Office probability charts favouring a colder than average autumn, and not really much signal at all for precipitation. We've got the Jamstec IOD model from Japan, that's going for near normal temperatures and perhaps favouring a drier than average autumn, if anything. Certainly not favouring a particularly warm autumn though. And then we've got the Beijing model, that's going for an Atlantic driven sort of pattern this autumn, quite an unsettled pattern really for the whole of Northern Europe, so that would be quite an unsettled autumn and probably not that warm either. And then once we get through to this model, the CFS model, what we're looking at with this one is again probably quite an Atlantic driven autumn, or certainly favouring more low pressure around Greenland, high pressure in the Atlantic. So again, there's nothing there to signal a particularly warm or dry autumn. So at this stage it is looking like we're not going to have a particularly warm autumn, but we'll be doing it all over again next month, and maybe the models will change. It's a long way out, the autumn of 2012, so we've got to wait and see what happens on that. The last thing I want to leave you with, the very last thing I'm going to leave you with for this video, is the forecast from the Jamstec IOD model for winter. Now, I wouldn't normally be looking at winter yet, but I want to leave you this because I know some people have been quite downbeat about my North Atlantic Oscillation forecast. So this is the Jamstec IOD temperature forecast for the winter. And well, look at that. That really is showing a very cold winter there across, well, the whole of Europe, actually looking very, very cold, but the core of that cold air is actually centred around the British Isles and around the Low Countries, North East and France. So if this is right, we really are looking at a very, very cold winter there, if this is correct. Now, I'm not all that sure about this. It's a long, long way off, don't take it seriously, but it certainly is food for thought. That's a very, very cold chart for the winter of 2012-2013, but I say don't take that too seriously. It's a long way off and I'm not at all sure about that. Anyway, come back next month. We'll be doing the autumn forecast all over again next month and seeing if the models have changed their tune at all. But that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video.